Go Sean! Woo! Third in! Woo!
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another weekly training vlog where I'm here to talk through all of the training I'm doing to prepare for Ironman Texas coming up in April of 2026. The clip you just saw at the beginning of this video, footage of me getting off my bike, that was shot yesterday at the Sylvan Beach Triathlon, and I'm going to talk about that race here today, but first I'm going to dive into all the training I did last week, then we'll talk about the race, and we'll be all set, good to go. So looking at last week's training, I was very focused on getting ready for the Sylvan Beach Sprint Triathlon, which again was yesterday. So this week was really just another week of self-coaching. I haven't sat down with my coach yet to figure out any type of structured plan, but I really felt like I knew what I needed to do to be ready to go and do my best yesterday. And I started out the week on Monday with another short swim, just trying to touch the water at least 3 times a week recently. Just swam some hundreds in the water, and again, just really trying to get that sort of speed back in the water, get used to the water. And that was an easy swim to take care of. It was only about 25 minutes to do. It's so different than the whole Ironman training build. I'm actually really loving these short training sessions I've been doing. So short swim on Monday, yoga on Monday night. On Tuesday, the only workout I did was my strength training. I've been trying to make strength training a priority, and Tuesday I think is a really good example of me changing my habits. I think that there would be, the chances of me not doing a bike run workout on Tuesday are pretty slim. That's been like my routine forever. But on Tuesday morning, my priority was the strength training. Got up, went through it, got it done. And then my day got really busy. I didn't actually get to get on my bike. And it was like, I'm telling you, it was like weird for me to feel like, I didn't do my ride. But the fact that, hey, I spent an hour doing the strength training instead and I made that priority, that did feel good. Moving into Wednesday, I sort of made up for my lack of bike run on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, I went out to do my sort of pre-race sort of shakeout, get my body going at the paces for the race, but not for very long type of workout. It's very common. You'll see a lot of athletes do that before a race where you just go out, you'll hit your race paces a little bit, just to sort of make sure everything is firing on all cylinders, and then you sort of take your foot off the gas and try to rest and relax before the race. So that was my Wednesday. Went out and did 3 5-minute efforts at zone 4 on the bike. That all felt good. Got off my bike and I was just like super fired up at that point to test my legs at pace for a brick run. No easy running at all. I went out and did like 2 by 8 minutes. Again, I'm coaching myself, right? So I did 2 by 8 minutes as 5 minutes steady run pace, 3 minutes sort of finish effort, sprint effort. So basically trying to run the way that I'd like to run off the bike for the first few minutes, just trying to kind of lock in, and then practicing accelerating beyond that. So I did run pretty hard on Wednesday there, spent like the first 5 minutes off the bike. What did I do? About 7:13, and then picked it up to 6:27. And then a little bit of a repetition here. So then I ran 7:03 for 5 minutes and then picked it up again. And on this one, I was really trying to pretend like, okay, like this is like, think about the finish line, get your foot turnover going, like really just go, go, go. Got my heart rate up to 182 and averaged about 6:30 on that one. And that really helped me prepare. And, when I talk about the race, I'll dive more into that. But it was a pretty hard workout. I wasn't sure if I'd maybe done too much, but got it all out of my system on Wednesday, and I knew I just needed to take it easy until Sunday. So Thursday, hit my second strength training session of the week. Also went out and did like a quick test ride on my bike. I had changed my wheels over to the race wheels on Wednesday. Also adjusted my saddle. My saddle nose was quite a bit slanted down, and got that sorted back out. Bike felt great on that little test ride on Thursday and kept it short, less than 40 minutes. Friday, another really short swim, followed by a really short, super easy jog type of run out of the pool. And then on Saturday, I just did some yoga and tried to get prepared for the race. So let's talk about the Sylvan Beach Triathlon. You can see my splits here. I swam about 11 minutes. I biked just under an hour, just over 29 minutes, and then I ran just under 21 minutes. And I was really trying to get out and try and recreate the magic from last year. Last year at the Sylvan Beach Triathlon, I was able to swim and bike my way into second place, and then on the run, I was able to overtake the other athlete that was there and come all the way through the finish line for the first place finish. I've never quite had a race play out like that until last year. And while of course, I'd love to have that happen again, right? But I knew going into this race that I can't just expect that. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on myself to try to find that front of the race again. I'm just gonna go out and try to do my best. And I really feel like I got everything I possibly could out of myself. Starting out with the swim, I was one of the first athletes in the water. I actually was the first athlete in the water for the sprint wave. I've learned from experience that I don't mind getting past in the water. I actually really enjoy just getting it out. I don't like waiting to get in the water and thinking about guys that I want to catch on the bike and the run. I don't like watching them swim away from me. I don't enjoy that. So I hopped in the water, got passed by a handful of athletes, but came out of the water feeling like I had really tried my best. I felt like my sighting was okay. I knew that I had lost some time to the other athletes that I was trying to race, but just focused on getting to my bike. By the time I got on my bike, I was sure that at least one, maybe two, if not more athletes had already gotten their bikes and headed out. Got on my bike really smoothly. The first transition went well, got my feet in my bike on the move, got my cycling shoes strapped on the move, went out there and gave it my all on the bike. Came in, I wasn't able to catch the leaders of the race, so I knew that I still, wasn't quite at the front, but I had other athletes that I knew I was racing that were around me on the bike. So when I came into the transition to the run, another athlete that I'm racing was right behind me, and so by the time I got out running, we were basically running together. Now, the dude in question here is definitely a local. I mean, he's won a couple races that I've seen. People definitely know who he is. I've known who he is for a while. I've probably raced him 3 or 4 times and I've never beat him. So now I've got this guy right with me. We're running stride for stride. My heart rate's slammed. I'm in that sort of sprint zone, and that's good. I mean, that's what you want in a sprint race. I mean, it's kind of as hard as you can. And so, that first mile, I'm running along with the other athlete. I'm running the pace that I want to run. And then I think we started to slow down a little bit. I couldn't even see the leaders of the race. And so I wasn't necessarily incensed to try to go and catch them. I'm just sort of trying to hold off this other athlete and run with this other athlete. And I'm trying to gauge whether or not, they're holding back. I was holding back quite a bit, for the first 2 miles. What ended up happening is we ran the first 2.5 miles together. And at this point, at the mile 2 mark, I had started to speed up little by little. I'm just kind of increasing the pace a little bit, and then he's matching it. I'm increasing a little bit, and he's matching it. So all of my attempts to sort of speed up and shake the other athlete are not going so well. He's just staying right with me. At this point, I started doing some sort of on the spot, math in my head about, okay, would I be able to outrun this guy if I had to in the last 100 meters? And I felt like the answer to that question was probably no. I felt like he's a really strong guy. I mean, I just something about the way I felt, I'm like, I need to go now, because if I just run with him all the way to the chute, I don't think I'm going to be able to outkick this guy. So I basically decided to run the last half mile like an 800. I'm like, all right, pretend I hear the bell ring. And I had just been running around 620, 625 on my race prep run on Wednesday. So I knew I had that sort of pace in the bag. And I knew I had that sort of pace in the bag for at least 3 minutes because, like I said, I'd done it on Wednesday twice. So just kind of went into that sort of comfort zone of I can do this, I can run faster. Increased the pace to around that 620 mark. My heart rate spiked up into the 190s. And I saw the other athlete's shadow start to drift back. And then at some point he said something really nice. I mean, the guy is super nice dude, and he yelled something like, "You got it." And I still didn't trust it though. I thought he was messing with me. So I'm just booking until I can see the finish line. And once I could see it, then I felt like I had it in the bag. So came across the line about 90 seconds behind first and second place. And the really fun thing about that, the two athletes in front of me, is that the guy that came in second yesterday is the athlete that I was able to outrun last year. So super proud of him. He's been training so much. To see him come back a year later and get to sort of hold me off, I love it. I love it when people, are gunning for me and they're trying to race me. And, for sure he accomplished his mission there. I did not catch him. He didn't even see me on the run. He crossed the finish line before he even knew where I was. So I wasn't too far back. I did have a little bit of a faster run split than he did, but the guy's swim and bike and transitions were so clean, so fast, and he held on to that lead that he had. Couldn't quite get there. And then same thing with first place. Those guys had a really solid swim bike, about 2 minutes ahead of me, and I could not make up 2 minutes on the run. So at the end of the day, I'm thrilled about it. Third place overall is a pretty special spot for me, because not every race does sort of first, second, and third overall. Some races will cut those top three athletes out of the age group competition and give them their own awards. The Bayou City Tri-Series does not do that. They only give awards to the overall winner of the race, and then they also give an award for the overall Masters athlete. So this was my first race in the Masters competition, and both of the athletes that beat me yesterday are a little bit younger than me, so they're not in the Masters division. So long story short, I got the first place overall Masters award, which I feel really good about. Super happy about it. And then, just for my own, they had a medal engraving going on there for free for the athletes. Super, super nice. I love this race series because they give you things like your photos are included in the registration fee. Things like medal engraving were included in the registration fee. Like, it's phenomenal. We're so, so fortunate to have the Bayou City Triathlon series here. Fantastic stuff. And my son and I waited in line to get the engraving, and I decided to go ahead and, like I said, even though there's no official third place overall award, we made our own third overall, and I threw Tri Vibes on there. So all things said and done, I love the Sylvan Beach Triathlon. I'll be back next year, and got a lot of time to think about it before I'm at the start line of this race again. So my training for this coming week is going to be a little bit of a departure. I'm going to be traveling, be in Connecticut on the East Coast for the next 3 weeks. I do have a bike. I do have my swim stuff. I'm totally intending on continuing training while I'm gone. But it's just going to look a little bit different. I'm looking forward to it. I'm still going to keep these videos up, so I'll be back next Monday with an update of my first week of training in Connecticut. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for checking this out. I'd love to hear from y'all in the comments. And if you are just checking this channel out for the first time, definitely consider dropping a like, dropping a subscribe. I'm going to keep this Ironman Texas video series going all the way through the race next year. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you along for the ride. Take care. I'll see you next time.